Hi, welcome to my podcast, Becoming a Cut Flower Grower. I'm your host, Lydia, and I'm here to share my year of growing and selling cut flowers. I'll be giving you the lowdown on everything I'm doing and sharing all the highs and lows, the good times and the inevitable disasters, all in real time. Join me on my cut flower journey, starting right now. Hello, welcome to the latest episode. It is Friday the 8th of July at Friday the 8th of August. Oh my goodness, July just went. I don't know where it went. I'm talking to you from the plot and it's about 9:15 at night. Sun's gone down. I'm waiting for the birds to go to bed and I've just been out here staking my snaps. So as any sensible person will tell you, you must get your staking in place right at the start of the season so that you are not, like me, staking snapdragons at this hour on a Friday night. And the only reason I didn't actually put any staking up was because I didn't have any faith that they were going to do anything, which is really unkind. And as I've learnt this summer, all of the things that I had absolutely no faith in have turned out to be complete superstars. And all the things that I was hoping would be really amazing have just had a bit of a wobble. So there's probably a learning curve in there somewhere. Anyway, I've not had any luck growing snaps in the past. And this year I bought a very fancy Anti-Rhina Magus bronze something or other, and didn't think they would come to anything, and then all of a sudden they've just taken off and they're flowering all over the place, and like an idiot I put them on the edge of a bed, again thinking they won't come to anything, opposite the start of my 2 dahlia rows. So on one side you've got like the most precious cargo in the entire world, and on the other side of this really tiny path, which is now about 20 centimetres wide, is a whole load of gorgeous snapdragons that just have been keeling over. So I thought, right, I'll just quickly put some stakes in and sort those out. Well, of course, the ground is too hard to get any bamboo canes in, as I discovered. So I had to go and get some road pins, and that meant taking down my peas, which I did get to eat a couple of them, but they all went to seed incredibly quickly. And so they're growing up this fantastic piece of, it's that rebar, that metal mesh type stuff. So I just had to dismantle all of that, and I will pick the peas up later in order to get the road pins out and use the smacky thing to put some stakes up. So I have just done that, and I've just watered everything. And everything's looking really lovely, which is amazing, and it makes me very happy. Very happy. I did a little tiny order for my florist this morning. Some lovely hydrangea limelight, Verbena bonariensis, some achillea, and also a couple of buckets of foliage. So they've gone off to a country house hotel for the weekend, which is very nice. And I expect they'll have a much more luxurious and glamorous weekend than me. I just come back from an hour with my Dahlia guru, Richard Bailey, and we just had a whole walk around his allotment and had a good old look at what he's up to, and we went through some disc budding. Wildly complicated. I thought I'll pass all these tips on to you. I write everything down in a notebook, and I started to make some notes, and then it just literally just flew over my head, because the issue is that Richard grows for exhibition only. And so a lot of what he says is what you would do for exhibition, right? So it's not what you would do if you're a cut flower grower. So every now and then I have to sort of say, and what would I do, just to be absolutely sure? And then I sort of scratch everything that I've just written down and put what I would do. And the disc budding thing is so complicated. And what expert growers like Richard do is that they have all these numbers, like the number of days it takes for a dahlia bud that's about the size of your thumbnail to flower, and they know that the exact number of days that takes. Now, it's changing a little bit because of the weather, and obviously we're due to have another heat wave on Tuesday. I think it's getting up to 31, which is just bonkers. And just when everything is calmed down and everything is flowering beautifully, we're going to have this crazy hot period, which is just so frustrating. Anyway, barring, heat waves and crazy stuff like that, Richard and other growers, they know exactly for each different type of dahlia, so the ball, the pom-pom, the minis, the decoratives, the giants, the mediums, everything, there is a set number of days. So he knows to go and disbud, or basically like pinch out any buds he doesn't want, to let the buds that he's identified as promising to turn into flowers, so that they will be ready for a show that he wants to take them to. And he's going to the National Dahlia show at RHS Wisley in September, so he's kind of like gearing up for that, and then he's got some other shows before that, and so he's timing everything to perfection. So a lot of what we did tonight, I was just listening, but like trying not to absorb it all into my brain because it's not relevant for what I'm doing. But it was very interesting to see what he's got flowering, and I mean, really, once you start them, you can't really stop them. This is the problem. So you just end up sort of taking all these buds away, which is fine for him because he's exhibiting. But obviously, I want to maximise the number of buds that I have that will turn into flowers. But at the same time, you still have to disbud them because you just want one lovely long stem. So it's one of those really weird things that I have consistently found difficult to get my head around. I have completely got the whole point of pinching out zinnias, and I do them without even thinking about it because I grew them last year and I've been through the whole process, and I was having kittens about it last year, and in the end I just went ahead and did it. And then of course they all branch out and you just have these massive plants with just flowers coming out of left, right and centre and all different everywhere. But this is the first year that I've grown dahlias as cut flowers. I've tinkered around with them in my garden and other people's gardens, but never with like an objective of being able to cut long stems from them. So there's always that moment when you're like, oh, I have to go and disbud them, and you're like, oh, I don't want to do it, and you know you have to, and it's just, yeah, it's really difficult. But the dahlias are all doing really well. I'm very happy with them. They all look very, very happy. I thought they would do well on the plot because it is a rich, fantastic soil here. A little tiny bit ropey where they are, as in not like prime real estate, but I think they've done super, super well. And including the one that I didn't think that was going to do anything. Again, you know, there's a pattern here, isn't there? There was one stuck on the end of a row. And I very nearly stopped watering it because I thought, you're never going to come to anything, and we're rationing water, so not sure I'm going to be able to water you. And he's turned out to be a cracker, and he's just about to flower. So never give up on anything at all, because they surprise you. They're consistently surprising me. The apricot cosmos have finally sort of got their act together. So I don't know what they will do in the heat wave, but they had this sort of crisis where they were trying to flower and grow at the same time, and it was like a battle. You could almost see it in the plants. That part of them was like, let's just put on loads of green foliage, and the other half was going, no, let's just flower. And they've had this battle, and they seem to have come through it. So they're flowering nicely, and there's a decent amount of foliage, but nowhere near as much as I had last year, which was good, because all I had last year was masses of foliage. They got up to just over 5 feet tall, just of foliage, and they just never got around to flowering. This year, completely different problem. I have got tomatoes randomly popping up all over the plot, which is also very confusing and a bit disconcerting. And I'm thinking, well, maybe I'll just leave you. But they're all in silly, silly places. And I'm not entirely sure how they've got where they've got to, because last year we had a really, really early frost. And I think it was like the second week of September. And all of my tomatoes died overnight. And so I never got any tomatoes, so I'm not entirely sure where all these little plants have actually come from. I'm guessing maybe compost that I've bought in from elsewhere. But I'll leave them to see. I've got ones in the greenhouse at home for safety this year. I haven't actually grown anything outside this year. And I have got right in the centre of the plot, I mean, you couldn't make it up. I might have to take a photo and put it on my Instagram. It's possibly the biggest sunflower in the world. So I'm 5'8", and he must be 7.5 foot tall. It's an absolute monster. And the irony is, it's not staked at all. Nothing. Because again, I looked at it a couple of months ago and thought, yeah, I don't think you're going to come to anything, to be honest. So I think we'll just leave you and see what happens. And this is what's happened. So I'm just thinking, do you know what? I don't know why I don't know. Oh, sorry, I'm on a chair and it's just fallen in through the soil. I don't know why I intervene with half of this lot, to be honest, because the ones that you'd think would need support don't need it. And then if I don't put the support in, they all just grow like the clappers. It's honestly, it's a lot. So I'm happy to have got through the week, actually. I didn't have a very good week. I'm trying to sound super happy and positive all the time because nobody wants to listen to somebody moany, but I had a cold this week. I was ill on Tuesday and it took me until yesterday to get shot of that. And I was moping around because I didn't have my car. I only got my car back last night. So I was in the manual car doing battle with the central locking and first gear, which just gave me a lot of problems. So I got my car back last night, and so that just feels so much better because I love it. But I have had a bit of a dip this week, actually. It's a really sort of funny time of the season because I was so excited about getting the dahlias and just like, oh yeah, I can't wait, it's going to be amazing. And then you realise that everybody in the whole world is growing dahlias at the same time. And everybody else is better, and they've got more of them, and they're all in the right colours. So I didn't get to choose my colours because I was gifted my dahlias from Richard Bailey, my mentor, and I'm very, very grateful. But it's been a bit of not a surprise in a way. I saw the plants before he gave them to me, but it's some of them are perfect for weddings. They're sort of peachy, apricot-y pinks, just absolutely gorgeous. Like, I actually want to eat them. They are so fantastic. They're like giant marshmallows. And then some of them are the most shocking, crazy red, which actually will probably go with my shocking, crazy zinnias, actually. They probably make a very good pairing. So I didn't choose the colours. So I haven't got 60 dahlias producing X number of stems that are all suddenly going to go off for the pastel weddings. It's not going to work out like that. But they will hopefully sell, and I'm going to get out there. If I have to hawk them on the street, I'm going to do it because they're so gorgeous. But then, you know what? Everybody's a gorgeous. I just thought I would be doing something special for a while and then realised that I'm really not doing anything special and everybody else is doing it so much better. So, yeah, maybe everybody feels like that when they first start out, I don't know, or maybe it was just me. Do you know, you have to have this funny kind of balance between confidence in your abilities and skills and experience level and your product. Confident enough that you can get through every week because there's always a challenge, but not arrogant about it because there are so many people doing it better. But you can't then be that down on yourself because you wouldn't have the confidence then to go out and sell them. So I'm kind of oscillating between these two bits of my brain where one says, you know, well done, you're doing a great job, this is amazing, and the other bit of my brain that says, yeah, but it's really not that good, is it? And you can't sell you haven't been able to sell all of them, and look who's doing it better, and everybody else's social media is so much better. So yeah, it's difficult because then that negative part of your brain just kind of squashes the positive bit, and I think, oh my goodness, I don't want to start pitching my dahlias because everybody else's are going to be better. Now, I don't know how many people have fimbriated dahlias, which is what I have, but then do you know what? How many people know what a fimbriated dahlia is in the first place? So yeah, anyway, so it's been one of those weeks, and I'm happy it's Friday, and oh, bat just flew over my head. I have a bat here. I don't know if I have more than one. And when I just sit here, rather than just be scurrying around like a headless chicken all the time, the bat comes out in the evening. Maybe it's a pair of bats. Anyway, it's lovely. It's beautiful. So, yes, I've made it through the week, and I hope you've made it through the week and you've had a good time and everything is growing. And if you're here in the UK, you are ready for the next heat wave, which actually I think has to be 3 consecutive days. Maybe we won't get that. I hope not anyway. Have got water up here. Can always go and get more if necessary. So that is a huge weight off my mind, especially now that the dahlias are all flowering. And what else did I have to tell you? I'm sure there was something else. No. Shirley's babies are going outside. tomorrow, I think. I've got a little enclosure for them that I was given by a friend of mine. So they're going to go out tomorrow morning and they'll be out on the grass, and then they can stay out. They're obviously like completely secure and everything. They're within the perimeter and everything, but they've been in the stable this week. They're not that active yet. They're still just sort of, their systems are just kicking in and they're starting to eat, and I wonder what's going on. But I thought Shirley needed time just to relax, because it was quite overwhelming when they suddenly arrive, and she's a bit clumsy. She keeps stepping on one of them, and it gets very upset, and then there's lots of cheeping, so then she gets upset, and I'm like, well, Shirley, you trod on her, that's why she's cheeping. So it's time for them to come out. She's had a few days to just sort of relax and get used to what she's doing, and they can come out for a potter tomorrow, which would be nice. So I think that's a note that I shall end on, and I wish you all the very best. And if you're a new cut flower grower and you are going through a whole range of emotions about it all, really, then I hear you. I've probably felt what you've felt at some point, possibly everything this week, actually. And we made it through another week. So, well done us for that one. And I will be back on Tuesday with more news from the plot. So I very much hope that you will come back and join me on Tuesday. And in the meantime, have a great weekend, have fun, and I'll see you Tuesday.